Well, there is the good in life and there is the bad in life. And the same can be said about sports. And right now we're going to focus with the bad. And BT, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it is Juan Soto. 18 games in. I never thought I would be at this point with Juan Soto, a guy who I begged and pleaded the Mets to go get, a guy who I wanted more than any player ever in my fandom. I wanted Juan Soto. The Mets delivered, and every single time this guy has come up in a big spot this year, and there have been plenty, he has failed. I've been giving him some leniency. All right, no, he'll get it next time. He'll get it this time. He hits the back-to-back home runs in the Minnesota series. I'm thinking, okay, he's going to be unlocked. And yesterday, a despicable 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, leaving a small village on the base pass as the Mets lose a series. What you could debate his comments, whether you like them, whether you don't. Nobody. I don't care if you're Jeff Passan. I don't want to hear the numbers from anybody. Juan Soto has stunk to start his Mets career.
Well, I do have to hit you with some numbers, but I'm not Jeff Passan.
But you're not gonna back him and tell him that it's good.
I'm not gonna say that. All right, he's had 4,200 plate appearances in his career. He's had 79 this year. He's gonna hit.
I'm just saying.
I understand, but I'm trying to get to the root of your. Because that's not just disappointment that we're here. We're hearing a little bit of anger. We're hearing a little bit
every time he comes up in a big spot. Yesterday, I'll give you the exact. Now, this has happened all year long. Oh, here we go. Soto's up in a big spot. Starting with the opening game against Hader. Okay, now I gave him a big pass saying, hey, lefty on left. We had that conversation.
It was a nasty pitch.
We broke down the at-bat. I'm not getting on Soto. But every time since then, maybe not literally every game, but a lot of times Juan Soto has come up in spots with guys on the bases, and he's not getting the job done, which led to the comments about the Yankees. But forget about that. Yesterday, individually, I'm getting ready to go out. It was Sammy's birthday. I took off SNY, so I had the game on. We were ready. And I'm like, hold on a second. Hold on.
Hey, don't blow out the candles yet, honey.
Yeah,
Soto's up.
Soto's coming up in a big spot. And again, he fails. Time and time again, multiple times yesterday. So I'm not saying he's not going to get it done. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is 18 games in, he has been, I thought he was going to be the one guy that would not hit a bump in the road, no slow start, instantly come here, just like he did with the Yankees, and take off. And 18 games in, he's been terrible. Not just in accordance to what he did with the Yankees last year, BT, in accordance to what he's done in his career. Small sample, sure. He's been awful to start his Mets career.
Well, it's clear to me. He was just a little more cozy in those pinstripes, buddy.
You see, this is
those pinstripes, like a nice Brooks Brothers suit. They fit well, man. Nicely, little 44 long. Because you got a big chest. I'm sure. You look. Maybe he needs a new suit.
What I will say is that the reason why
I love that this has happened already. I did not think that this would happen already.
That's kind of the point.
Oh God.
I don't think now Mets fans are always braced for the worst. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not one of them. Kind of like you with the Jets, right? With your mentality.
Yeah.
There are certain moves that I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. But with this Mets regime, I trust them. I believe in them. I did not. Soto is the one guy, even over the years, if I did trust certain players or whatever, it's like, all right, slow start. Maybe you have to get used to that or expect this or that. Soto was the one guy I really never even gave a thought to him struggling. It didn't even cross my mind. It was no, he's the surest bet that there is. And I'm not worried about him long term. Like, I think that would be ridiculous to say 18 games in, you're worried about Soto long term. What I don't want to hear is people saying, oh, no, he's getting on base 40% of the time. You don't pay $765 million to a guy who gets on base 40% of the time. Bullcrap. Every single time he's come up in a big spot, he has failed this year. He did not do that with the Yankees. I don't want to hear the excuses from Soto. I don't want to hear people tell me that the walks are good. I want to start seeing some production. Now, it's 18 games. Enough's enough here. Well, before you know, it's going to be a month and then a month and a half. Now, what is the issue with Juan Soto?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I got a couple of questions for you here. All right, so this is, I'm not surprised by your reaction. I don't think you're off base. I get it. I'd be pissed too.
Just for the 18 games. Let's be clear.
I got you. And you have said clearly that you think that he eventually gets it going, and I do too. I think most sane baseball fans do. Now, to what degree? Well, I was telling everybody over the winter, I don't think he's banging 40 home runs. I don't think he's a 310 hitter. I think last year was, not that he'll never have a season quite like that again, but that's not what Juan Soto does every year. I tried to tell people that while still walking that balance beam of obviously acknowledging that he's a terrific hitter. But I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
Number one, are you Are you disappointed? Like, look, hold on. Not
Yeah.
even before the question statement. I understand the emotion if the Mets were losing.
Right.
I understand that.
Well, they did lose 2 out of 3 now to the crappy Twins.
I know. And listen, if this sets in some chain of events here
Right,
where the
right.
Mets, and by the way, and nobody's hitting
Right.
outside of Pete Alonso. The Mets offense stinks. It stinks outside of Pete right now. But if they were losing, I fully understand it. This is why, and I need you to tell me if I'm off base with this, those people who try to get separation from taking Soto from the Yankees.
Yeah.
And I hate to bring the Yankees into it, but you did with, with the pinstripe, whatever. I almost think that the reaction is partly based on you wanted the immediate flex. And even if you don't know it, you know what I mean? Like subconsciously,
Right.
Yeah, you took him from the Yankees, and then you wanted player of the month. Hey, guess what? Not only did we take him, but now look what our guy is doing. The fact is, this is what we talked about for 4 months.
Yeah.
The fact that he has been very quiet and fairly impotent at the plate, I think it has ruined the ability for Met fans to gloat, and I still think they want to gloat.
I have been waiting all year long. Now, it's good that the Mets are winning, but I have been waiting all year long to have Soto explode. Whether it was the first series, the second series, the first homestand, this weekend, whatever. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for those big moments. He continues to get those opportunities and is not coming through. I don't know if it's about gloating. Like, for me, personally, that part of it is over. It's why I said, even though I didn't have a major problem with Soto's comments, I just don't want to hear about the Yankees anymore. To me, it's not about Soto and the Yankees. It's about Soto and the Mets.
But it's always going to be intertwined with that. As long as until the Judge retires,
I'm fine with that.
I know that you know that, but we can say it's not about the Yankees, and it's not because he's a Met. But on some level, it's always going to be about the Yankees because you got Judge, you left them, and now we had one guy's hitting 409, one guy's hitting 236.
When Soto struggles, to me, that's the most important thing, not that he struggled and he was a former Yankee. The only, in my mind, relative fact to him being a Yankee in this particular case is the way he started with the Yankees. How come he goes to the Yankees and starts the way that he did, but comes to the Mets and starts the way that he did here? The only difference...
I don't know, by the way. I don't know. Okay. Nobody knows.
Well, remember, we talked about this a week ago on Friday, and people thought it was ridiculous to bring up then when I said that I think he's pressing. The only difference... It's not New York.
Mm-hmm.
You could say that the pressure of the pinstripes or the pinstripes are heavy. Whatever.
I don't get into that. Whatever. Mess around and have some fun, but whatever.
But he succeeded more with the Yankees, so it's not that. The only difference is the contract. The big contract. Is he feeling this pressure to live up to that massive contract? He's performed well in walk years. He's performed well against the best of the best in the biggest spots in the postseason with the Yankees in New York. So it's not a market. He's performed in multiple markets. It's not the World Series. It's not the pressurized game or situations. Walk year, all that stuff. The one thing he hasn't done yet is be the guy and live up to a $765 million contract. And that's why I do think that he's pressing to a certain extent. He could say he's not expanding the zone. Juan Soto looked lost yesterday. Juan Soto has been off since he's been a Met for the most part. I think early on he looked better, but it started to get more into a little bit of a funk here in the last couple of weeks. I know he's going to come out of it eventually, but right now, there's no other way to say it. Juan Soto's been terrible.
But there's also varying degrees of describing he's going to come out of it. Yeah, he's not going to hit 236 this year. He's not going to hit 256 this year, but is he going to hit 296? I don't think that's a guarantee.
Right.
And this is a deeper issue. I know the calls want to jump in. It's more big picture about the Mets lineup. But, the deeper and it's still early to be fair, but as you start to accumulate almost 100 plate appearances, that's a little less than 20% of the actual at-bats you're going to get for the season, just based on the number of at-bats you usually get. So it's not hit the siren of fear. It's bothersome, but this goes on a little more. He's not going to have a great first year. He could have a good first year, but he's about another 2 or 3 weeks away. If he don't wake up, his first year will not be great.
Well, that's kind of the thing about when it starts getting, it's early. Well, before we were saying the same thing about Lindor for a while, and then before you know it, it's May, June. Now, I don't think that he is going to struggle. Again, I'm just extremely frustrated. And it's the one guy that I thought was a sure bet. No, even the most pessimistic of Met fan expected Juan Soto to hit the ground running and be a beast right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And here we are, 18 games in. He continues to come up in huge spots, and he is killing the team. He's been awful. Not only has he been great, he's been awful.
He has been. He has been. I got a quick one for you.
Yeah.
If he has a slightly above average season by his standards,
Yeah.
you guarantee the Mets, not only guarantee on the air, but are you, like, within, do you feel that sure that the Mets are a playoff team?
Yeah, I think they could.
They got some issues, man, with that lineup.
I think they could overcome him being what he's supposed to be. So you're saying slightly above average. Yeah, I don't think they need him to go nuts. But right now, BT is not even going nuts.
Nah, he looks bad. Yeah. I mean, just tap it into weak double plays, strike it out, expand it. He's a mess. You're not wrong.
And in big spots, that's the thing, BT. That's why I wanted him here for the big spots.
I got to tell you, it's heartbreaking to see. It's sad.
You want to have a repeat of what we had? What was that, earlier in the week?
Yeah, I do.
BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends in town. Was that earlier this week or was that last week? Right?
I think it was Monday.
Oh, yeah,
I think so.
Right. I get the days all mixed up. BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire. What's Monday? The Master stuff. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Jose is calling from Canton, Georgia. What's up, Jose?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
What's happening, buddy?
My first time calling. I got to tell you, I've been following Juan Soto since he first came up. I know the guy. I'm Dominican.
Okay.
This guy, he's not the same person. I don't know if you noticed, when you see him walking up to home plate, he looks like he doesn't want to be there. I am telling you, he's not the same guy. I don't know why, but I can tell you, I know the guy.
Now, Jose, listen, you say you know him a little bit. Okay. Can you be a little more vivid in your description? Like with body language, what leads you to say that?
Well, I noticed when he was with the National, even when he was with the Padres, you can see him. He was very animated.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the Mets, it's not the same guy. He's not doing that.
Well, what happened?
I don't know what happened. I can't tell you what happened. That I cannot answer that.
So let's try to figure it out, though, Jose. And thank you for the call. We appreciate you checking in for the first time.
I got a theory, by the way.
Go ahead.
Maybe he'll lament signing with the Mets.
Okay, but that is one. So now we're getting to why. See, I'm not concerned. There's a big difference, and I'm sure we're going to get a ton of calls that are saying they're concerned or they're not concerned. I'm not concerned. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
Concern would be,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying, this is a bad contract. What were they doing here? I'm annoyed and I'm angry. And I do think that what you're saying about, one of the reasons why could be because this is total speculation.
Could be.
That maybe he's, I hate to even use the term unhappy.
No, that's why I use the word lamenting.
Okay, well, whatever.
It's a lot to process, man, before you sign it and then after you sign it. I don't know if that's resolved in a 2 or 3 month span.
And couple that with saying he missed the Yankees, which is totally understandable and not a big deal, human nature.
Mm-hmm.
Couple that with the comments about, I had the best hitter in baseball. It's different. Now the struggles, and now he's probably starting to be like, well, what the hell's... He's probably thinking about it himself. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And maybe a part of him was like, I didn't realize how good I had it there. Or I could fly under the radar. I would have gotten paid. And Judge would have been the guy. And I would have...
We tried to tell him.
Right. So now you're really tapping into why I don't want to hear from Andy Martino or Jeff Passan and the guys who can't relate to being a fan. All due respect, fans don't want to hear that stuff. Yeah, is it a big deal that he makes those quotes? No, but fans don't want to hear it. And the reason why we don't want to hear it, especially now, is because he's struggling. And if there is any legitimacy to him struggling because of any doubts or thoughts about maybe being better off in a different spot, then that's an even bigger problem. Now, I'm not going to go there yet, but I think anything's possible.
Do you have another one? I mean, if that's just a thought.
I think just the pressure of the contract.
Okay. Hoff says he's got one. Go ahead, Hoff.
I do. I just think it's really cold. He looks very cold out on the field.
It wasn't cold last year in April at Yankee Stadium.
Get the hell out of here.
It's not cold in October. Come on.
Cold, this guy.
I don't want to hear that. That's another thing. The look of Soto with the hoodie. Give me a break.
Yeah, everybody's wearing hoodies. Yeah. And nobody's hitting.
Charlie's in Beth Page. What's up, Charlie?
Good morning, BT and Sal. Yeah, you know what? I'm pissed. I'm sorry. We paid the top player in baseball top money, and 18 games in, I'm expecting a lot more. I'm sorry. 3 strikeouts yesterday, unacceptable. Almost comfortable up there. I expect a big hit at the big spot in that game, and we haven't gotten it once. Yeah, a couple games at the beginning of the year, a couple doubles, walks, on base percentage. Yeah, you know what? I know the rest of the team ain't hating, but they're not getting paid $800 million a year. He's supposed to hit. And we got Pete Alonso, the only guy hitting in the lineup.
Well,
And it's not supposed to be that way.
even the
and he's uncomfortable looking.
Sorry, Charlie, and thank you for the call, Charlie. We appreciate the passion. Even the walk stuff, BT, it's why I wasn't going nuts until now. Yesterday's really bothered me. And that's why I was referencing passing, because when he was minimizing the impact of the comments that Soto made, because he's still getting on base 40% of the time.
Is that how he said it?
Look,
Is that how he said it?
Well, let's leave him alone before I really get mad.
I got you.
He's not getting on base 40% of the time. His on base, as a matter of fact, is 367. His OPS is 798. So the numbers aren't adding up to where you could justify being like, all right, well, at least he's taking his walks. He's not being pitched to. No, that's not the case.
It's not the case. Listen, I do think that to expect him to change, not that you're saying this, but if there are Met fans that think because nobody else is hitting outside of Pete, that he's got to change his approach eventually and take fewer walks and become more aggressive and maybe expand the zone a little bit and maybe hit a few more home runs, but also strike out a little bit more and have a lower on base percentage. Well, I think that's dumb, because you're asking somebody now to change who they are. And what he is, now, he's deficient in certain areas, and I've talked about that, which is why I don't think he's an all-around great player. I think he's a great hitter, certainly certain aspects of hitting. We've hit this many times, the Tucker Soto thing, the Judge, whatever. You guys know where I stand on that. But if you are now hoping or expecting him to modify the one thing that he's basically done better than anybody in the history of baseball, you're going to be grossly disappointed.
Right.
So don't start expecting that. That's a potential disaster.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I don't want him to change. I'm not sounding the alarms about a long-term concern. I'm reacting to what we've seen so far. Juan Soto has been a massive disappointment to date. Doesn't mean he can't come out of it. 18 games in, he has been a massive disappointment.
Soto.
Yeah, maybe the whisper was fitting, because that's what he's been so far to start his Mets career, a whisper.